Hi folks. Over the last few months I've been getting quite a lot of emails and messages through social media regarding the River Plus range. So I thought I would put this little video together for you all to get a little bit of an insight into how it come about. But before that, there's a few questions I need to answer. I've been through social media, I've had messages just asking me about my involvement with Nutrabaits. So here we go. Anyway, the first question I've been getting from a few people now is, am I sponsored by Nutrabait? The answer is yes. I am sponsored by Nutrabaits, and the River Plus range was the birth of my relationship with them, and I've been working with them for nearly 4 years now, and I can honestly say it's been a fantastic journey to watch the company evolve, start creating new baits, and being involved with the process of that has been a phenomenal experience and something I've always wanted to do. The River Plus range itself was put together by myself, Brian Scoyles, and the bait gurus at the factory. So it's a bait that we all had a hell of a lot of involvement with, and the process of putting it together was absolutely phenomenal, and the tweaks we made and the whole process of going out field testing and everything like that, it was absolutely amazing, and the results was absolutely unbelievable. We was quite shocked actually of the amount of big fish we caught in such a short space of time for a new bait. So anyway, rather than me waffling too much, I'm going to run this little promo video that we put together a few years ago now. It just gives you a little bit of an insight into the bait and how it came about.
First job is to get the bait actually sorted and ready to put in the river. I've actually brought scalded pellet, which we're going to mix in a minute. We've got some hemp and some maize ready to go in as well. We've got various sizes of pellets, and we've got the magic boilies. So we're going to pop these out of the car now on the floor, get sorted, get the bait mixed, get a bit in the river so that we can then get organised. I have a three-pronged approach to River Trent barbeling. First of all, there is the hemp and maize mix, which I've got there, and to that I'm just going to add some dry pellet, just a few, like so, different sizes. Now what will happen with those is the moisture from the hemp and the maize will soak into those pellets, and they'll gradually puff up and swell up and break up, which I'm quite happy with. The more that mixes in, the better in that. I'll also be catapulting some of those in loose as well, so that's already starting to look interesting. This is my main focus though, which are scalded pellet. Last night I put about a third of a bucket of the smaller pellets in, just covered it with water, put the lid on and let it do its magic, which is basically just the water will soak in, the pellets will swell up and start to break up overnight. So usually when I open the bucket, I've just got one great big blob of pellet. Now at the moment, all I'm going to do with that is literally start breaking that up. Normally take a spoonful of the hemp as well into there. I throw a few of the full boilies into there as well. Some of the smaller pellet. And normally for the dropper, I then put some of the broken up pellet into there. I'm getting out of breath here. This is hard work for me, this, on a first thing in the morning. But there we go. I'm good to go. I've got my feeder mix ready for use during the day with a few particles in. I've also got my main mix here. And because I'm getting old, I've got Sherpa Nailer with me, who in a moment is going to go down and feed the swim for us. I've got to get him to do some of the work because last time we were here he nicked half the fish off my rods, so it's only fair that he did half the work as well. So I'll pass it over to Alfie in a minute, who's going to put this in the river.
As you can see with this dropper, you can get quite a lot in it. It's a bit of a customised one. I've improved it a lot, but the more bait I can get out, the better.
It's all fairly standard stuff, but I'll just go through it in detail. I prefer the lead clip system, and although I can't fit a long enough piece of tube in, I'm using just a short length there, just on the basis that if the feeder ends up rolling and the hook length line wraps round, it's got something to protect the two lines from crossing each other and cutting into each other, so that just helps. The actual lead clip system is a fairly standard lead clip to the feeder, and that's just lightly plugged on as you would any lead clip system. I've got an anti-tangle sleeve on the other end there which pulls into the swivel. It's just, again, because we're fishing in a situation where it might roll, it's all keeping everything nice and straight and stiff and anti-tangle. The other end, I think, is the important end. I like to fish a relatively long hook length. That's 12-pound fluorocarbon, and the bottom end here is 20-pound braid. The two are joined together with an Albright knot, and what I do like to do is just put a little bit of shrink tube over that knot to protect it, and again keep that neat and tidy. I just call these my mega combos. It's a carp fishing term for combi link, and it just works well for me. Hook is a quarter curve, usually size 10s, little liner just again to protect the knot, and then a short hair to the little dumbbell boilie. It's as simple as that. So it's a nice straightforward setup, and it's worked well for me for 2 or 3 seasons now, so I'm quite happy with that. with that. It's bristling, it's angry, but I'm happy. It's not been the easiest of mornings. We baited up and had a good couple of hours with no sign of fish. Heavy rain, strong winds, but it is December, and I'm well pleased with that. We're going to pop it back, and the only bad news from my point of view now is it's actually Alfie's turn, and if it's anything like last time, he'll probably land a whacker, but that'll be good as well. Time to pop him back, get another one. You might be wondering what Alfie and I are doing huddled underneath this brolly in early December on the banks of the Trent. It's been raining most of the morning, it's been quite windy, and the conditions in the river have been quite tough. But that's part of the reason we're here, because Alfie and I have been involved for several months now in hopefully developing a barbel bait specifically for large rivers like this from the Nutrabaits stable. We had two versions done to start with. One that I was interested in, which was really had a sort of a trigger derivative in the base mix, but had additional levels of blue oyster and things like this. But you took it a stage further than that.
Yeah, I really liked the one that Brian had, but I just thought, especially with the rivers and having so much flow, I thought we need to increase the amount of flavours in the boilie to try and get the fish to home in it much quicker. And obviously with the leakage, because of flow, it would last longer.
I think that's where you come from, the carp angler and a barbel angler. I've always been worried about over flavouring baits because I've had experience of that in still waters, whereas probably you're coming from the riverside where the flavour's got to wash out and you actually want more smell into the water.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. 'Cause with any boilie, no matter how strong it is, once it's been in the water for 20-25 minutes, it starts to wash out. Even if you've got one that's really, just say for instance, stinking of garlic, eventually that garlic smell will just wash out and you won't have any flavour whatsoever. We
also disagreed on colour to start with as well, because the first version that you wanted was a dark brown colour and the first version that I did was red.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So we did meet in the middle and we actually went for like a maroony sort of colour.
Which you've actually got down there, yeah.
And this is the finishing boilie. And we have played around as well with sizes, but we've both are quite happy with the smaller size. We think this will be better for more longevity in the bait, won't it? The
other thing as well, any long-term Nutrabaits users that have used the freezer baits and whatever and the ready-mades already as a carp bait will be familiar as well with the nice texture that we've got with these. They're not overboiled, they're not overcooked, because again we want that leakage rate to come out into the water. You live within sight of the Trent, so our fishing's been completely different. So your fishing has tended to be on the same stretch and whatever. So how have you found this as a bait for, shall we say, regular use in the same sort of spots? What sort of response have you had?
Well, I think I've had a pretty instant response from it. It's been consistent. The only thing that I am doing, which is probably giving me a little bit of an edge, is I am pre-baiting with it. And because I'm pre-baiting, when I say pre-baiting, I'm not using loads of boilies. I'm just scattering a small amount in areas that I'm actually fishing. And I think that's just giving the fish confidence. And because I'm not fishing it regular, I think they're coming onto it.
So you would say, so far, your experience of this is, if you use it as a pre-bait, the results are getting stronger?
Yes, definitely.
Right, okay.
I've had it on several occasions where I've actually had 3 fish at once.
Because I can't experience that, because I have the joy of an hour and a half on the A1 to get it. So my idea of pre-baiting just doesn't exist. The only way I can fish a pre-baited swim is if I come and fish where you've put the bait in. But my own fishing is much more dotted around, coming to different swims and fishing it as a one-off. And I've been really chuffed with it for that, because I'm now at the stage with this bait where I just turn up, catty some out, start fishing it and think anything that comes across that will eat it. I can't guarantee it'll be a barbel, because we've also done really well. I've done really well with chub, with bream and whatever, and I believe you've done the same.
Yeah, definitely. It's been very consistent, and
Yeah.
the main, I think one of the main things is it's a bait that you can take anywhere, and even if the fish have never seen it before, they're picking it up. And it's happened on more than one occasion for both of us where we've just took the bait and we've caught. And it's confidence, and you can't grumble at that.
We're not quite sure yet of the finished outcome, that, to be honest, because we're still at the development stage. Hopefully, eventually, there will be some glugs to go with it, some pellet possibly, perhaps a paste wrap, but that's all part of the development process. All we can tell you at the moment is we're pleased with the results so far, that we've caught in the warmer summer months, through autumn, and we've caught today already on a damp, wet, cold, miserable December day. And if we're talking about a bait that we want to use for the future, we're quite happy with that.
Get in! After a bit of a long wait on this wet, cold December day, this one's ripped off, and look at that for a fish. Beautiful, absolutely immaculate. I'm going to take some pictures quickly and get her back.